Hey Sarah.
Okay,
Yeah, in
so
this screen, I would start with custom and default, recent import I would do later.
okay. And so we'll have the screen too. Okay, and these will be later. Okay, this is the starting point and the designer canvas. This too I'll need to, but of course the actions to ignore it and just start the canvas will be from the development side. Okay, so we have the weather too. All screens of the wizard. Okay. Actually, I don't know the status of the canvas so far. I have checked it since it wasn't in the previous design.
Right, so we want to shift to the new design. And what we did, Juan Jen, is we gave you the workflow actions. So anything that deals with workflow actions, we gave you that section itself in the designer screen. Okay, so action attributes. On the left-hand side, you see there's actions as well. So you can
Yes, but it's a project 2261. I should add the selection list for all the current action in the package, right?
so yes, on the left-hand side, you can see all the existing actions. On
Yes.
the right-hand side, you'll be able, when you select those actions, right now you don't have any. When you select one of those actions, you'll be able to see the action attributes, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I understand.
So that's how you manage the action attributes by selecting something on left side. Sarah added something new about duplicate action and what is it? Delete
Delete
action.
action.
That's
Yes.
something new that Sarah added. Okay.
This will be on click and drag like on this selected action.
And Sarah, the only thing I was thinking, do you want to make those like icons instead of?
I think we don't need more to add here. It's just two actions.
Okay.
Okay, so the screen will be, of course, this like this, and just by right click on the action, the menu will appear. And this side menu is toggling. It can be toggled upon user clicking on this button. So on this screen we have two side menus. The one for actions and functions, and the one is for this right side. It's will be for action attribute or the function attributes. And of course, we have the canvas here. We have mainly, of course, this is the main part, the header, and the canvas. It's starting from the left side, this canvas area, and the right side. And inside the canvas area, we have this bar. It contains two tabs for view and template. And we have the editor section here. And the view here we can switch between the designer mode, which we have now, and scripter mode. I think we can discuss it later in the comment stream. Okay, so we can go to the function list. This is the second tab. We have all the functions listed here. We have, of course, the search, and search can user can search by name, or maybe you select from the list. And we don't have any function selected. We don't have this sidebar, the function, and of course maybe we can have the action, but maybe user can close it now. So the first screen is the first steps is we have only from the starting for a custom action, we have an empty canvas. We just have the starting point where user can start creating and adding some steps of the flow. So once the user select the start point here, he will we'll show this function box, the shadow box immediately, and the view will switch to the function list, and user will drag and drop the component, only one component at a time, to this function box, and we'll have this function box selected. And the endpoint will appear once we adding the first function, and the flow menu, the flow types menu here just appearing, but in a low opacity, maybe a 50% of the opacity, and of course the function attributes as we mentioned, it appears upon the selection of the function. And of course, it is in a form view. And you can add another step by hovering on this menu. It will be appear in full opacity. And this is indicating the success. Maybe user can add another success step. Or I'm sorry, this is not correct. I should only implement the success steps from the first point, as long as we don't have any running previous points before. No, I'm sorry. This is correct. The thing is that user can go back and select the start point again and add another element, another step. So we are right. This is will add another step, but below this function. But if user wanted to add another success step in the same level of this function, I mean the imperative flow. So user will have only this success button. Our scenario is to add another step below this step. The point is, once the user insert another or maybe any function, this menu will appear. So user can add it anytime. So maybe you can add it on an empty box, the function box. Maybe user can first draw the full workflow as step one is a successful and the other the next one will be successful too, and maybe we'll add imperative flow as a one successful and one if we have failure action status. So maybe user can create for the full flow and then adding the functions. But in my scenario here, we just creating the step by step and adding the function immediately. We added another success step. And this one we went back to the first step. And we added another success flow. This one, right? And of course, all the steps should ending by to the end step, the end point here. So as you can see here, the steps direction is going to the end point. User can keep adding steps as you can see here.
So let's stop here for a second. So Rupinderjit, you'll have all the function sections where the user can populate the functions based on the
Okay.
function definition, okay? And the way we have it is Wangen has the action attributes. So
The
with
drag
the
and drop function.
Say it again.
Drag and drop functioning, right?
So you have the drag and drop for functions inside the function components.
Okay.
Okay, and you have the
And when
function
user-
attributes population.
Okay. Drop the function, then the function attribute will appear on the right side.
Right. That right side right now is not implemented. We need somebody to implement the right side, and you can see there on the right side there's like things like you can attach artifact prefix names to a component. So
Yeah.
we want to make sure you can enable those, and those artifact prefix names, right, are based on what we have in the templates section.
Okay.
Okay, in the templates we have a list of different artifacts. So we want to make sure the user can select from the template section itself. Okay,
Okay. All
and
this
some
coming from the
components
request,
also
right?
support scripts. So if depending on the capability of the component, you can either attach a artifact like a template artifacts or a script. Okay, so I just want to make sure that that point is clear.
Okay.
Okay, and Huanjen, you have the whole workflow section. Okay, so you see how the flow menu here, you see this flow menu?
Yes.
That's something you can work on.
Can I mention something?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sarah.
We need to block the drag and drop action when we don't have any shadow box. So the drag and drop is working on when we have a shadow box in the camp. In this one.
We need to block it. You said, right?
When we don't have any shadow box, we need to block the drag and drop.
Yes, I agree. The current design doesn't have this notion of a shadow box, so this is pretty new. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any question, Kwan John, from your side perspective of what we're asking to do?
I will start with 2261. So for now, I don't have any question about that because I think Sarah has already added a lot of description on the wiki page, so it's pretty clear. I think maybe after some coding, I will have some more questions, but now I don't have any question about this.
Okay. So the only other comment I'll say is that one main thing we want to do is make sure that the UI supports enrichment. Okay. The current
Yes.
UI doesn't support enrichment. So Juan, I gave you that story as well to do the enrichment.
Mm-hmm.
It's supported in the legacy. Okay. We have a explicit way of doing enrichment. There's a button that user can click. But in here, the enrichment probably happens as part of drag and drop. So when the user adds a workflow and, from, let's say, from a default package here, you want to make sure it's enriched. Or if he creates a new workflow, sorry about that. We want to make sure, and he adds the components, we want to make sure that we are enriching the package as well. So there should be some integration between the designer UI and calling the enrichment function itself. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. Yeah. It's
Okay, and
like
if you have questions about when to do enrichment implicitly, let me know. We can go over the use cases. Because I see two scenarios where we want to do enrichment. If there's changes, let's say in either the template section or there's changes in here. But let's discuss it. Maybe we'll do it the enrichment. Let's discuss it. I mean, once you're ready for enrichment implicitly, we can discuss that. Explicitly, you can just add a button. For now, if you like, we can just add a button as a placeholder so that we can allow to do enrichment, and that will solve a lot of the current usability problems we have. Okay.
okay.
Juan, I'll share with you the Zipline file after the meeting. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. For this side, we wanted to implement um, the current one is only we have this section, but without the two tabs, and we don't have these tabs too. But we have already the editing bar, but I think it's not implemented yet. It's not working. And
Yes.
yes, and this part, but this part will be I can just implement the according panels and the titles and this icon maybe and the default inputs. But the other elements, as we can see, that it's according to the function type. So I think maybe I'll once you develop the scenario, I can go back to just modify the design.
Yes, I
Just
understand.
edit. Yeah.
I mean, this the right side bar and the left side bar, it should be generated according to the default package, right? It lists the current actions and the actions attribute the current package. It should be. I should do some coding about that. I understand. Yeah.
So there's two use cases. One use case is where you can take a workflow action from a default package, okay? And the other use case is that you are creating a new workflow.
Yes.
So if it's a new workflow, then you know your action attributes, the user is defining what that workflow is.
Yes, and it should also be updated in the package, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, I understand.
Have you get a look of the current designs of the designer? Have you checked the implemented code?
Sorry.
Have you checked the current design of the designer?
Yes, I
think
have.
the developed.
I check the designer prototype and also check the wiki page for the project which assigned to me. I think I received the mail this morning, and so I just
Okay.
checked all the wiki page for the project which has been assigned to me. Yeah, but I will start coding this week. I think maybe by the end of this week I can solve some of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking that because from the first starting of creating this page, I've implemented some elements, but later because of John GS they use in the screen, they had to replace the HTML elements by some components from the John GS. So I think you can start just dipping on the code they made, and maybe you can get back to me of what elements do you want me to implement it
Yes.
as
Okay.
HTML.
Yes, I understand. If I have any questions or yeah, I will send you a mail. Yeah.
Yeah, please. And here on Rocket Chat, I'll be available on Rocket Chat too.
Thank you.
So maybe I think we are done here from
Okay.
the
Yuri, one
workflow.
question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So my task is to create that function menu on left side, right?
Function attributes, correct.
Attributes are coming from the backend, right? Database.
So the definition of each function is coming from the backend. That's correct. Maybe I can show you so that we're in sync what I mean by that, okay?
Can you
Share
create
the
package
presentation.
on your system?
So, okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
So in here you see components, model, catalog, definition types, starter types. This is going to be node types. Okay. So for example, if you select component resource resolution, you see it has inputs, resolution key, occurrences, store results, and you can see the type is Boolean. So is it required? False, right? Occurrence, type is integer, default is 1, required false, right? So resolution summary, Boolean. So anything that's a Boolean, you allow them true or false. If it's an integer, just give them a box. If there's a default, set that default, like default 1, right? And then they have other things, request ID, resource ID. So all of these things you want to allow to name inside the resolution box, okay? We also have output definition, and we have status definition. Okay, so prefixes, names, anything else that I wanna. So you can see all of this, all these capabilities, all these definitions. And if you look at another component, right? Let's say you choose netconf executor, and netconf executor will have script type, right? So it's a different definition here. And here are the valid values for scripts. So if you see that the script has a set of valid values as constraints, right? Or any property. So you want the UI to be able to understand this these property sections, okay? Meaning that they can provide a description. Is it required? True, right? Type is string. If it's string, then there's a default, and then there's also constraints. Constraints are a list of available options. You want to allow the user to display in the dropdown. And then you have script class reference, you have instant dependencies and dynamic properties, and output, and then status within the response data and output. Okay, so each component has its own definition. So we're not hard coding this, right? So we want to make sure it's dynamic. So we want to be able to support, the description, the required, the types, the defaults, settings, the constraints, because this is generic, right? It's a generic GUI. So if you add a new component tomorrow, that GUI will be able to bring up that component. Okay, script executor we have here. Okay, any questions? I'm gonna give you this link as well, just for the definition.
Yeah, the backend is still not working for me.
Okay, so we can talk about the backend. So maybe you can show me. Sarah, were you done with what you wanted to share?
I have one question. If user didn't import any definitions, what will happen in the designer?
As part of Enrich, the backend will return all the information. I'm assuming we added a workflow and we added some components to that workflow, right?
No, I mean from the beginning.
So from the beginning, what did he populate in the GUI? Did he just populate the metadata section? Then and he is saving it, then they should be allowed to save, right? But he won't be able to execute any action on that specific package because there's no workflow action or component behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, but once he adds a workflow and then components, if he enriches, then that he will be able to execute actions. If he doesn't enrich, he'll set actions, but those actions will not succeed, right? So he probably won't be able even to deploy this package if he hasn't enriched it, because it won't be fulfilled most likely. So I want to say that it's okay if the user doesn't fill out the workflow section. He's allowed to save, but he won't be able to execute anything on that package until he fully enriches it. Does that answer your question, Sarah? Any other questions?
No, it's okay.
Okay, so maybe at this time, Rubinderjit, do you want to share your screen?
Can you see?
Are you on mute?
Can you see my screen?
Okay, yes, I can see your screen now.
Okay.
Okay, and have you done the changes Sarah suggested? And then do a
What
build?
changes?
We sent an email on it. I sent an email. Did you see the
Sorry,
email
I
that we sent?
Yeti, what changes?
Hold on one second. Update the proxy config.json file.
You sent or Sarah?
I sent it.
The last no.
No, there should be another one. It wasn't the. It was.
When was that?
Um. It was 4:23 at 1:57 p.m.
23.
The subject is CDS UI Designer HTML.
I think we close this task as long as we have another tasks that are more divided than the old one, the old designer.
Can you repeat that again, Sarah?
I mean we have this task was in the old designer tasks. I
No,
think
no.
these are
This is Rupendrajit is having access to the backend. This is not a task. It's a
okay.
Got it.
environment.
I
Did you try this step?
didn't see the mail yet.
Okay. Can you try this? Can you try this right now?
Okay.
And Juan John, are you having the backend running in your side?
Yes, you sent me an email, and you sent me an email. I checked it should be fixed. Yeah.
Okay. Did you make the same changes that?
Uh, Not sure. I mean, I made a lot of changes, and at the end it works, but I'm not sure.
Very good. As it works, that's the main thing. Okay.
Just these two, right?
Yes.
Should I recompile?
Yes, you have to compile.
Should I import scripts also or not?
Did you do a build? Did you do a build?
Okay, ambient clean install. I have to do that? No.
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna take time, I think.
The first thing you'll notice is that you should see packages coming back on the package list, right? If that doesn't show you anything, then you know you still have a problem. Good morning.
Okay, the build is success.
Very good. Can you open the UI now?
Let me compare it. You Mac.
Sarah, what do you have? I think you have Windows, right?
Should I import template mapping or
Uh,
get it?
I didn't see. Can you go back to the package list? Are you getting back a list of packages?
When I hit save, then they will come here, right?
No, 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 no. You should get like default packages back. Are you getting those or no?
On the main page.
Yeah. Oh, you're still not getting them, so you still have an issue then. So go ahead and create it, but I think you still have an issue. It looks like it still cannot communicate.
Create
Let me see
without
if
framework. Can you try in your system?
Sarah, can you share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Okay. To create a package.
So first of all, do you see how you see list of packages here? Okay, so I expect out of the box, you should be getting a list of packages. So the next point, yes, you can create a package, Sarah.
It's now, of course, it's going to the main screen. Okay. Do you want me to create a full package?
No, no, I think this is enough. Do you see this, Rupendrajit?
Yeah.
So Sarah, he still has a problem with the UI talking to the backend. Maybe we can ask Shaban to help him.
Yeah.
I ping Shaban and he's not online, but once he comes online, Rupendrajit, you're on Rocket Chat, right?
Yeah.
So I'll ping once Shaban says he has time, I'll ping you and maybe we can set something up. In the
Can
meantime, what
you,
I'll also do, I'll put a placeholder for tomorrow. Maybe we can sync up tomorrow.
what should I just wait for?
Yeah, let's talk to Shaban and I think he can help us in this area.
There's nothing I can do until then.
I mean, I think you can start working, but if you want to wait for validation of package creation, that validation is, you need to integrate with the backend. But you can probably start
Need to
working.
understand the workflow.
Yes.
That code in the designer mode. This one.
Sarah, can you go to designer mode?
Yeah.
Can you select an existing package?
You want it on existing package?
Okay.
Okay. This button should go to designer mode, but it's not working yet. That should from here.
Okay. Okay. These are the function which user imported.
No, all of these functions are coming from the backend.
Okay. So what I
And
need
right
to do
now,
is
you see we have action functions as it should be as one tab. It should be separate tabs. It's like one
Like-
thing combined. So that the first thing we want to do is
like a toggle
make
button.
sure, yeah, make them like two tabs and have that separation.
So okay. Want me to work on that one first?
Yeah, I think you can start with that.
Okay.
And then go ahead, Sarah. You can show him the workflow.
Okay, but this is the old design.
Yeah, you can do insert. Just do insert. I want.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Okay,
just trying to
so you see right now when you drag a component here, there is no function. Click on the component.
yeah. We don't have the function attribute.
We don't have
or
that
the
function
action
attributes. Okay, so we want to make sure we allow the function attributes.
Okay.
Okay, and then what Juan Jen is working on is the workflow itself. So he will, the workflow, creating the shadow box, when selecting the, on success, on failure, right? The workflow attribute on the right-hand side, that's the part Juan Jen is working on. And you're working on, when you click on the function box, populating the function box with the attribute list, okay? With the
Okay.
function attribute information.
I need the back running for this, right?
What was that?
I need the backend to be running for this one.
Yes, you want to make sure the backend is running because the function attributes, the function list that you're getting now is based on the backend.
Yeah. So now I can work on that
But if
toggle
you
button.
want, you can start with making two. Can you go to the current design prototype, Sarah? Okay, yeah.
on the first screen.
Yeah, first screen is fine. So you see right now we have workflow actions and functions separate tabs.
Yeah.
This part.
You can start with that.
Okay, make
Do that
the
part,
toggle
please.
button.
Right, you can do the toggle button, and then on the right hand side, can you go on the right hand side, Sarah? The function attributes, you can add the function attributes themselves.
First you have the action attributes and then the function attributes.
Right, action attributes will be done by, and I guess it can, Juan Jen, but it should be very similar, right? The implementation should be very similar. So maybe Rupinder just do the toggle, the initial toggle, and then let's sync up
Okay.
with Shaban tomorrow and see how much we can do for function attributes, okay?
Okay.
And Sarah,
I made you
go
want me
ahead.
to designer mode on the
Okay,
when we create a
yeah,
package,
I
you want
wanted,
me to designer mode there. Yeah.
you're talking about the patch you added, right?
Yeah.
So I think for the patch you added, what Sarah and I discussed is that that designer mode will not be available until the user populates the metadata section and does a save. And that's already inside the code. So I think we can abandon that patch, right, Sarah?
Yeah, that was I was thinking though.
Do you mean
because
the designer
User
button?
Yeah, the
Designer button?
designer button is only available
Yeah,
when the
when we
user updates the metadata section and does a save.
yes.
It's not available until
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Actually, there will not be any saved package until the user entered the name and the version.
Okay, all right. Anything else? So Rupenderjit, let's see if we can sync up tomorrow. You have that toggle if you do between the workflow actions. If you submit it by tomorrow, just let's make sure we include the Juan Jen as well and Shaban so they're aware of the changes.
Yeah, sure.
Yuri, can we move tomorrow's meeting to maybe 3:30? My
That's
time.
what time is it now?
Now it's 3 p.m.
Oh, 8:30. Okay, I'll move it 30 minutes forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, done. All right. Anything else?
No, that's all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yuri.
Thank you.
Yuri, I'll submit the screens I'll create for the HTML. I'll submit them
Yes.
on Jira and just
Okay.
start doing them right away.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuri.